is no easy way of going out, but you'd imagine it doesn't get more hard to take than this. So all 4 teams finished level on 4 points. Extraordinary. So the first time since the tournament expanded to 24 teams, a team has been eliminated on 4 points. The table is as it was when we started earlier on. So Romania top of the group by virtue of goals scored. The goal difference is +1 with Belgium, also +1, but Romania are top because they have scored 4 goals. Belgium through as group runners-up, this time on goal difference, and Slovakia confirmed their place in the knockout phase, having pipped Ukraine to that final place, also on goal difference. Oh, Kenny, how do you even get your head around something like that, particularly when you are the team to lose out like Ukraine?
Yeah, they'll be a bit devastated because they were the team in the ascendancy last 20 minutes of the game. Manager rolled the dice, got the substitutions on, they gained some momentum, and you'd have to say had a chance to actually go and win the game. And you couldn't have argued if they had done, because that was a rotten performance for me from Belgium from start to finish. No individual player coming out with any credit. Didn't play with any kind of intensity. So passive from start to finish. No ambition to go and win the game. And the sight of Kevin De Bruyne and one of his teammates keeping the ball in the corner flag with seconds to go, with an opportunity to go and score a goal and win the game and top the group, I thought it was actually borderline embarrassing when I was watching. I couldn't believe it.
No, I don't think it's embarrassing at all. You're in injury time, the 4th minute injury time. If Belgium lose the game, they break away and score, they're out of the tournament, Belgium. So there's nothing embarrassing. They had 90 minutes to win the game, Belgium. Yeah, I agree with Kenny, they weren't good enough and they were poor and below par, but I've no qualms about holding the ball for the last 30 seconds on the corner flag down the Ukraine half. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
They're playing France. They're coming second in the group at that moment, facing France.
I don't care who they're playing.
And it's only 30 seconds. There's only a chance for you to take the corner, kick one more phase of play. If you're worried about the counter-attack, put 2 players at the edge of the box and keep 2 on the halfway line. But put the ball in the box.
Okay, so
give somebody a chance to score.
So Belgium put the ball in the box. Ukraine clear, score it on the breakaway.
Yeah, but you don't do that. You negate that, Shay. You put 2 players at the end. You put enough players at the back.
Kenny, we've seen it happen many times before. They've broke from a corner and they've scored. It's not beyond the realms of that happening. So for me, I think it's fine. It's
my new chance of that happening. More of a chance.
It happened last week. What was the game that the keeper and everything went up and then they...
Yeah, I think it was a Turkey game, wasn't it, when they scored?
You don't do that. You don't send your goalkeeper and send everybody into the box. This is what I'm saying. You ring the box. You keep 2 players in the halfway line, so there's no chance of the counter-attack. But you put 4 or 5 players in the box and you give Lukaku, Vertonghen, somebody a chance to go and head the ball into the net, top the group and stay away from France.
Doing what De Bruyne did guaranteed their progress into the next round.
Yeah,
and that's it. They're going no further. They're not going to lay a glove on France.
Well, they're still in the next round.
Is that the ambition of Kevin De Bruyne? I just want to get to a last 16 in this competition.
No, but waking up this morning, that was their ambition. Clear-eyed as hell. We're going to the
group. Their ambition wasn't to win the group.
This morning, waking up, we're one of 4 teams. Any one of us can go home. Let's not be the one that goes home. That decision in the 93rd minute, rolling into the 94th minute, ensured they were staying in the competition.
And ensured they wouldn't win the group and avoid France in the last 16.
But maybe that's a sign of confidence. We don't care who we're playing. We don't care who we're playing. We're playing France, doesn't matter. We're in the competition. That's what we're here to do.
Ukraine are going home. Simple.
Ukraine are going home.
Is the argument that Kenny is making
is that...
But he'll make it.
Is it that they are the 3rd ranked team in the world? They have some of the best players in the world playing for them, and they're playing out for a draw. Happy to take a draw.
Well, they are playing out for a draw, but it's the 94th minute. It's the last realms of the game. The game's over, so they're not going to risk them scoring. They've had the whole game to score. They weren't good enough. I'll agree with Kenny. They weren't good enough over the course of the 90 minutes. But they pick out something in the injury time. De Bruyne getting his teammate over to keep the ball in the corner for the last 30 seconds. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
If that were France or Germany, do you think they'd do the same thing?
I think you've got to understand the context in which it happened. Injury time, 60, 90 seconds to go. At the end of a performance, end of a performance where if any of them or all of them are honest, they'll say every one of us have been below par. We're not at our best here. But we're going to go through if we keep this ball. So they've kept the ball and they've gone through. I don't see the grounds for criticism. Surely I wouldn't use a word like embarrassment. They got the job done in those situations.
There's one more phase of play. There's 45 seconds left. One more phase of play, cross into the box, maybe second phase of play. That's it. You cover the halfway line, you negate the opportunity of a counter-attack, and you give yourself one more opportunity to score a goal, to top the group and give yourself a favourable route towards the final. No. And this isn't a Belgian team. They aren't playing well. They are really struggling for confidence. They're not playing well. They can't live with France. at the moment. They can't live with France in that last 16. There wasn't even a big gamble for me in terms of putting that ball in the box. There really wasn't. And they got some targets, good targets to hit as well. It's an indication for me in terms of mentality. See Kevin De Bruyne, a man with his ambition, his kind of drive, the type of personality that he is. That gives me an indication in terms of his mindset at the time, in terms of where the team is. Clearly has no confidence in the team.
No, I'll flip that. Kevin De Bruyne is the captain of the team. He's on. We're going through to the next round. I'm the captain. I'll take leadership on the pitch, and I'll get the players over here to say, "Let's see this game out. We're going to the next round." And I've said this before: if you're going to win the competition, you have to beat France the next round, or you have to beat them in the final. It doesn't really matter. You have to beat them at some stage.
We might talk a little while about this and the quality. I mean, you said they won't live with France. People might argue that France haven't exactly looked like world beaters in this tournament so far, although there could be varying reasons for that. But the very fact that we're having an argument about a little incident, Richie, that happened at the end of the game over a corner kick, does that in many ways sum up the 90 minutes we just watched?
Well, I think the second half, I think there was more to it because a little bit of urgency and maybe not desperation, but ambition came into it massively for Ukraine. You saw the changes Rebrov made. They went 3 up front at the end and they went for it. And they had a couple of chances as well. Belgium, I wouldn't say rode their luck, but poor finishing and poor quality from Ukraine when it mattered was an issue at the end. But I think overall, Ukraine didn't have the quality to win the game. Belgium didn't show a huge amount of quality to suggest that, to come back to the dark horse comment, I don't think they're going deep into the competition at all. Kenny's here picking apart the personality or the character based on the last thing they did in the end of the game. But overall, I don't think that performance of Belgium will trouble any team. It won't put the fear of God in.
And it's not just that one. I watched the first game. They got beat against Slovakia, really poor. Picked it up against Romania.
They were decent against
This is a
Romania.
massive step back today. Massive step back. They're so short. All aspects of the game today. In and out possession, energy levels. They looked open defensively. Ukraine played through them. Wingers didn't turn up today. Lukaku ploughing a lonely furrow up front. De Bruyne on the periphery of the game. Tielemans couldn't influence the game. I don't know where you start. Like, that's a worry. And it's not just a standalone performance. This is pretty symptomatic of how they've turned up and performed in this tournament. So no indication that this team, forget about like winning the competition. And with the prospect of facing France now, you talk about France not being at their best. France will beat this team in third gear, undoubtedly.
Well,
They were good against Romania. I did the Romania game. Lukaku was a handful, should have scored a few. De Bruyne was brilliant. Doku was dangerous. Defensively, they were fairly solid. Overall, they had way more chances than Romania did and looked very organised. And it was a really kind of strong, assertive response to an opening day shock defeat. No one expected that shock defeat.
Well, what we're looking at now is the two teams in the other match in Group B, and the reaction here is very, very different from the one we've just seen. That's Slovakia and Romania, who've just qualified for the round of 16. Despite finishing on the same points as poor Ukraine, they had a 1-1 draw. Both of those goals scored in the first half. There was and I know this is hard to believe, there was another argument between Shay and Kenny at the start of the programme about whether or not these two teams would go at it, because they knew that regardless of what happened, a draw would do them.
Rest me case, Joanna, rest me case.
It finished a draw, but there were plenty of chances. They certainly looked like they were both going hell for leather in that game.
This character next to me, honest to God.
Sorry, can I ask, were the two of you like this in Ireland camp?
Well, possibly, yeah. No, I mean, 1-1 doesn't suggest that. Obviously, we had our eye on the Belgium game, but it doesn't suggest that it was, tippy-tappy, you score and then we'll score and then we'll shut up shop and we'll just pass it among each other. I think there was actually lots of chances in that game. It was a very good game. Romania go top of the group, which is a fantastic, for them. Kenny was arguing that neither team would want to win and go through, but I still disagree with that.
But I'll give them a bit of credit, actually. I've joined both of them at Romania. I've watched some of their games, Romania and Slovakia in particular, and the kind of no outstanding individual talent in both of those teams, but in terms of like collectively how they play in and out possession, the defensive structure as well. The modern game, open attacking football, possession-based football. But some of the teams I'm watching, Slovakia are one of them, and Romania to a point, defend very well, good defensive structure, hard to break down, hard to score goals against. Slovakia in particular, that midfield three, Lobotka, Kucha you spoke about, and Duda combining for that goal today have been as good as anything, that kind of midfield three. So, yeah, good luck to them.
Richie, could you suggest, given the number of chances that Ukraine created, that in fact they might have shown even more ambition?
I think they they didn't lack ambition. I don't think they lacked urgency. I think at times they lacked quality, and we will go through now and show the chances that they did create in the second half. And in the first half, you have to give them credit. They kind of finished strong as well, but they did have a couple of opportunities, and we are waiting for someone to hit play here, so we'll show the chances. But I think they will walk off the pitch and feel a little bit disappointed with a couple of them. Dovbyk was lively afternoon, but again does well here actually to get the shot away, but it's the side net. And this is a good bit of skill here by Malinovsky. Clearly tried that deliberately, tried to find the goalkeeper off his line. Malinovsky there with a header 6 yards out. You think at least hit the target, or Stepanenko rather. This is Malinovsky here with a shot at the edge of the box. It was blocked. That clearly looked like it was going on target. I think this is the best chance. Sudakov right at the end, towards injury time, I think, and I think either side of the goalkeeper would have put him in real trouble. But they had opportunities. I don't think they lacked ambition. They knew they needed to score to go out, so we don't have to question here what their motives were, what was going on in their head. Their task was really straightforward, and they just weren't good enough.
If they lack quality, you can say that about the Belgian players who took to the pitch. And yet you look at Kevin De Bruyne, a man who just seems to turn it on week in, week out when he's playing in the Premier League, usually when he's playing for Belgium as well. But did we not quite get to see close to what he can offer this evening?
No, I think it was a mixed bag from De Bruyne, and probably sums up the competition for him so far. Playing the number 10 role for Belgium behind Lukaku, trying to find the pockets. This is probably his best piece of play in the first half. Brilliant way to pass for Lukaku, but it wasn't pitch perfect from him all afternoon. Too many instances when he received possession of the ball. He's usually so efficient, so accurate with his pass, and Joanna, little reverse pass there to Lukaku. You'd fancy him there. It didn't happen. Again, receiving the ball on the edge of the box, that's an easy pass for him. Just has to beat the last defender, and Tielemans is in. You can see how frustrated Tielemans, he was expecting that ball. Yeah, so on the periphery of the game for me. Yeah, still trying to impose themselves, showing that kind of confidence and leadership. They're trying to get on the ball and make things happen, but just not accurate enough at times with his pass. I'd like to see this. We don't see this too often, breaking forward in behind and trying to get beyond the opposition defenders. Look at him here trying to close down. This is an issue with De Bruyne as well now at this stage of his career. The ability like that, those energy levels to get around the pitch, put that high press on, make tackles. He's almost like you've got to carry him to a certain extent out of possession in the football. And that's something which I think the manager's going to have to wrestle with going forward. He's got a Penda who came on the pitch there late on. He came on against Slovakia, was excellent. And that looks a natural partnership for me, Penda and Lukaku up front. They carry far more of a threat if they play together. The problem with that is if they do that, you've got to find for a position for De Bruyne to play. Can't play in central midfield. You've got to carry him out, possession of the ball. So that's something, again, which the manager's going to have to wrestle with. I'm not saying De Bruyne has got to come out with a team, but I think he's arriving at the stage of his career now, De Bruyne. And we saw for City last year, some big games at Manchester City. Liverpool away, I'm thinking of. Arsenal at home. Midway in the second half, he got pulled off. He wasn't too happy. You know, we're all part of the Kevin De Bruyne. I love him. We've all loved him, the player that he has been. But he's not the player he was 3 or 4 years ago. He's in decline. And this is something which Manchester City and Belgium going forward are going to have to acknowledge and kind of fine-tune.
Well, he is 33 next week, but he's also been directly involved in 31 goals in his last 32 appearances for Belgium heading into this game.
I think it's a bit strong to say he's in decline. I really do. I think we even look at the England game last night. There was players who, like for example, Foden and maybe Walker, players that play in the Man City system in the group. They look different players. De Bruyne probably falls in that same bracket. When he plays for Man City, he looks a totally different player. So you have to think of the players around him, you know, the runs maybe Lukaku making that Haaland could be making, or vice versa. I don't think he's over the hill yet. I still think he's got plenty to offer.
I can't believe you don't agree.
I'm not saying there's a massive drop-off. He's not.
No, I agree.
He's not the level that he was a few years ago,
week,
clearly.
There will be an issue with regards to legs. I think he's got a year left in his contract, so...
But that's going to be tough for him at Manchester City. Guardiola parks him on the bench for certain big games now. He's not going to suffer that. I don't think he's the type of personality who's going to play a big part at Manchester City or for the Belgium national team going forward. I think that's going to come to a head very quickly, particularly at Manchester City with Pep Guardiola.
Well, let's get him through his Euros campaign, which continues, first of all. And his City teammate, who plays for Belgium as well, picked out by Richie beforehand. How did Jeremy Doku do tonight?
Well, it's frustrating again. You know, Richie done a really good piece beforehand, and probably the real positive things. And I don't like picking out too many negative things on any player, you know. But I spoke about before the game about his final, that cross there. Lukaku made a run. He should cross it into the box. He doesn't. So that's a frustration thing, and I sometimes feel for Lukaku as well at times, and maybe sometimes Haaland at Man City, because he does beat the defender and he gets past him, but just the final cross again, disappointing, very poor. You can see this, you know, he's electric 1v1, he's strong, he's powerful, but again, I think this pass just out to De Bruyne, I think he, you know, I don't think it's a difficult pass, but overhits it into the goalkeeper. You know, he can frustrate, I'm sure he frustrates fans, Belgium fans, maybe sometimes City fans as well, but again, like, you know, it gets into position, he's super fast, but I think he's got to pull that back for Lukaku again. It's overhit between the keeper and the defence. There's no chance for Lukaku. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see him there, Joanne, that one sort of frustrating, because Lukaku's having a shot. If a keeper saves it out, he's nowhere near to put in the tap in, you know. He should be busting the gut to get in the box. And, you know, again, it's just a poor pass into Lukaku. So it's been a frustrating day for him. I mean, the only thing you would say for the whole Belgium team, I think they're playing France next. And yeah, Kenny will say they're going out. But I think the whole Belgium team think, if we're not playing maximum every single player, we will go out. So I think they'll respond to that and be better next game.
OK, we'll save that argument, discussion for just a moment. We will be looking into all of the round of 16 ties that we know at the moment. It is France against Belgium. For Romania, who also go through, we know will be playing either the Netherlands or Slovenia.